Hey, today we've got major order news. Illuminate mega cities are back on the menu. There's word about the review bomb cape, and I'll cover a post going around about new skins. I'll also go over a question about improving the spear, plus so much more. If you enjoyed the content, please show some love by hitting the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Let's jump right in. Alrighty, Helldivers, starting off, we've got a new major order success message. Here's what High Command wrote. The Helldivers have successfully repelled the Terminate assault, securing all 5 designated urban centers. Though a vital victory, it came at a grievous cost. City skylines are scarred, foundational infrastructure lies in ruins, novel Terminate crust burrowing behavior raises many questions. The peace of mind of the Federation's urban inhabitants is irrevocably damaged. The threat of Terminate infestation of other cities and the subsequent indiscriminate massacre by fascist insects looms large. Siege garrisons have begun cleanup and decontamination operations as citizens return to their damaged homes. All collected insectoid biomass will be put towards E710 reserves and agricultural protein rations for displaced citizens. As the enemy adapts, so shall the Helldivers. This unprovoked escalation into our highly populated centers will demand a proportionate, measured, and decisive response. I'd like to point out that recently on the Terminate city biomes, it's kind of crazy because on those mega cities, you'll actually find holes just randomly. Interesting stuff there. I like to point out how we're feeding the citizens some bugs, essentially, right? Because it said rations. Interesting stuff, yes. So let's talk about the mega city changes and what the Illuminate have done to it. If you played the original Helldivers game, then you might have noticed the Illuminate have placed several beacons on both planets, which means they're calling in reinforcements. And I'm not talking about the normal Illuminate we're used to, such as Volus, Overseers, Harvesters. I'm talking about the higher-ups, the OGs. It's going to get nasty real quick when it happens. Besides that, they've made changes to the skyscrapers. There are now barricades on the ground, and for some odd reason, wrecked stingrays are scattered on the ground when you spawn in. In the recent major order, the brand new one, this is what High Command wrote. The Super Earth Satellite Observation Network has regained operability, rectifying earlier Illuminate sabotage. This restored galactic oversight has revealed new acts of war across multiple Federation planets. The Illuminate fugitives have not merely occupied our cities, they have twisted them into totalitarian strongholds. Comparative topography confirms preliminary intel. Our metropolises appear to have undergone unsanctioned re-engineering. The fate of the millions trapped within these altered cityscapes is unknown. Their conversions into hostile biological assets is probable. They are considered compromised until proven otherwise. Helldivers, you are to reclaim these cities for Super Earth. Systematically dismantle all non-compliant xenostructures. Extract any uncorrupt civilian survivors, and eradicate all hostile elements to prevent their resurgence from these new layers. The success of this vital mission rests entirely on your shoulders. With that major order being said, if we check out Alamak right here, we can see it's at 1.30, and then right below that is the other planet we have to liberate, which is surprisingly at 1.36. There's more players on Alamak, which is probably the one you'll want to go to. And you can tell we have several mega cities here to pretty much liberate. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the other ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, with some space in between each one. Very interesting stuff. So we're gonna have to fight till the end and make sure that both of these planets are liberated. And we only have about 4 days. So there you go. In about 23 hours, it'll be 3 days. Nonetheless, that's what we must do. On to the next topic. We've got some questions for Arrowhead's QA lead about the recent patch that was supposed to fix the customization crashing issue. I say supposed to because there are still problems. Recently on the Glitch Unlimited Discord, a Helldiver named Homicide posted a video showing that the crashing bug persists even after the update. You can check out his channel in the sources below. Anyway, the QA lead replied that if the armory is still crashing, they'll look into it. That's a bummer for a lot of you, and even myself. It's unfortunate that this issue is still lingering. Hopefully it's resolved in the next hotfix. I'll keep you all updated as soon as there's news. As for the review bomb cape, the developers are still working on it. We know the protector of the heart cape dropped earlier this morning, and in my opinion, its design is awesome. However, there's no ETA yet for the review bomb cape. A fellow Helldiver asked when we'll get it, and JoJo replied that basically we're cooking on the review cape, watch this space. As in, keep an eye on the Helldivers Discord for updates. If you're wondering when it'll drop, it'll likely arrive with the next update. The QA lead noted that it'll require a patch to add the files to the game, and yeah, that makes sense since the cape isn't in the game files yet, as they're still working on it as we speak. The next question was about the stratagem ball bouncing bug, which happens when you throw down a stratagem and it tends to bounce all over the place before landing. I'm sure you Helldivers out there have experienced this frustration multiple times. In response, JoJo had this to say, okay, so to fix the ball bouncing would also result in a bunch of glitches and ways to cheese the game. It's not forgotten, it just requires a serious solution because it's not a bug per se. Okay, JoJo says it's not a bug per se, it's likely tied to the structures or floors when you throw the stratagems. If that's true, and I'm assuming correctly, Arrowhead might need to rework all kinds of floors, like those in defense missions, standard missions, and biome floors across the board. I've noticed my stratagems bounce a ton in defense missions, but honestly, this issue can pop up just about anywhere on any planet. I'm really looking forward to Arrowhead, patching this issue as soon as possible. It's such an annoying bug when you're trying to place a stratagem in a specific spot. Alrighty, there's great news we've got to dive into about the AR-32 pacifier customization options. Helldiver asked whether the non-customizable magazines is a design choice or something the developers plan to address later. They pointed out how it differs from other Liberator variants with high-capacity 45-round mags, wondering if the developers need to design something completely new. In response, JoJo wrote, I don't know if it was a design choice or if we simply kept it to one because we didn't have time to make a bunch of different magazines for it. It was being made around the same time as weapon customization, so it could be a bit of both. But we are aware people want more capacity. That's intriguing. It makes sense, and here's why. Johan Pillestead mentioned in a post that some weapons didn't get attachments because they ran out of time. I'm pretty sure that's a reason for the pacifier's fixed magazine. So if I had to bet, I'd say Arrowhead's planning to update with a bunch of new attachments in the future that get everyone pumped, and I'm all for it. Additionally, there's been some complaints. Some players are not happy with the recent Warbond, specifically the pacifier. I don't think there are any issues with the grenade launcher. Neither do I believe there are some complaints with the grenade, besides the fact that it doesn't stun larger enemies, like, I don't know, factory striders, for example. Regardless of that information, there's a Helldiver here that I have blocked his name out because I don't want anybody to target him on the HD2 Discord. Regardless of that, this Helldiver said that he was expecting a buff like last Warbond, but he guesses it's going to stay like trash. In response to this, JoJo said, it's been a week. Any balance changes will take longer to cook. We are gathering feedback and we'll make some decisions. There you go. If you thought they're done with balancing, they're not. They're just taking a look at the statistics, the stats, the feedback, how everyone feels about it. Are players using it often? Are they not happy with it? Stuff like that. You get the point. I'm just rambling on at this point. 2 points there. So yes, they're going to be looking at it. Just give it some time, and hopefully in a week or two we'll receive some new buffs. On a different note, a fellow Helldiver named Sivarog tipped me off about a post going around showing a photoshopped safety orange color on the R2 amendment. So let me be clear, this is completely fake, just a fan-made edit, it's not an official skin, and it definitely won't cost super credits. Now, I don't know who created it, but I'm sure they didn't mean to spread misinformation, probably just a cool concept to gauge interest or pitch to the developers. Personally, I don't think the devs would sell skins like this for super credits alone. They'd likely drop it in a Warbond like the recent FRV patterns, in a Viper Commando or Truth Enforcers, so if you see this screenshot floating around, no, it's not real. Spread the word and let's keep the community in the loop. But I will say I do like the idea of adding these skins to our weapons. I think that's a great idea. just maybe not for super credits. How about we now talk about some hidden performance overview options on PS5. I think this is possible on PC as well. Nevertheless, we can see that there's a Helldiver here that posted this image, and you can tell there are some hidden stats here that you can look at, some statistics on your performance. Anywho, right here he said, I plugged in my keyboard into my PlayStation 4 chat and I hit some of the F keys on accident. Here's what I found. F2 enable overview, F3 toggle stats, F4 toggles the live performance graph, F5 enables the top left stats. Not sure what this is for, it's probably just a hidden dev option. Yeah, so like I said a few moments ago, I believe this is possible on PC with a keyboard. I didn't know it was possible on PlayStation with a keyboard, but it makes sense. If you are on PlayStation, try this out with that specific keyboard type. I tried it with my Corsair and it didn't work, but yeah, you could try it out and see if it works for you. And if it does, you might be able to tell certain things like performance in game and all the other stuff. And I think it'll be interesting to see what you guys have to say about this. So let me know in the comments. Switching gears, I recently covered the latest patch, explaining what the developers changed. We now have a known issue list update to cover what's popped up since the patch. The first bug that shocked me right here is, well, melee weapons can lose their effectiveness. The support team wrote, melee weapons will lose their effectiveness when used after stimming. Now, I wasn't sure what the support team meant at first. I thought melee weapons might lose damage after stimming, but that's not the case. Turns out if you stim and then try to melee, you can't swing or thrust your weapon forward for some reason. It's kind of hilarious. I suspect the bug stems from the recent stim update. Funny how I said stims from stim. Anyways, the point is, I believe the stim update, which allowed you to dive forward and stim yourself, might be the reason as to why there's issues with the melee weapon. But it's a super cool feature. That change might be messing with the melee attacks post-stim. Not only that, but there's also a huge bug when using the emplacements and stimming. I'd like to give credit to a Helldiver over on my Discord. As you can see, his name is right here. And yeah, if you try to use your stim while using the emplacement, you will not be able to fire your weapon once again. It's permanently broken unless you respawn, and that's the only way to fix it. Lastly, usually I go over the top 3 comments. However, I won't be doing that since this is my second upload. You could definitely be featured in the next video if you comment below, because I'll be featuring 5 in the next video. Also, I'd like to say thank you for watching, and most importantly, if you haven't already, subscribe, turn on notifications, and give this video a like. I appreciate your support so much, including my lurkers out there. Shout out to you guys for checking out the channel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next video.